Chapter 31. I have a way. You are listening at novel full.audio. Zhou Ningxue and Xia Yao's speed was shockingly fast. Even Jiangnan found it challenging to keep up with them. When they were in their first year of high school, they had already started training as a team and had entered the spirit ruins to hunt spirit beasts all year round. They were highly experienced in combat. Their tacit understanding was unparalleled. One look was enough to know what the other party was thinking. The gap was reflected at this moment. But at this moment, Jiangnan suddenly noticed three figures in black suits and black jackets in the crowd. They rushed to the mall at a terrifying speed. Jiangnan could tell at a glance that they were a soldier, and their strength was extremely strong. Even if they were not wearing a military uniform, he could tell from their temperament. Sister Shui. Sister Xia Yao. Be careful. This matter is not that simple. I'm afraid it is not an ordinary fire. Zhou Ningxue nodded and said, it's a fire released by a fire type awakened, and its grade is not low. At this moment, two furry ears suddenly appeared on Xia Yao's short silver hair. Wolf's ears. That person should still be in the mall. I can feel several powerful auras in there. At this moment, Jiangnan completely did not listen to what Xia Yao said. His eyes were bright as he stared at the beast's ears that came out of Xia Yao's head. Wow! Wasn't it too cute? This was Xia Yao's beast transformation. It shouldn't be complete yet. Then, wouldn't she turn into a wolf? As he was thinking, they had already arrived at the bottom of the mall. At this moment, the area under the mall had been surrounded, and the surrounding crowd had been evacuated. Several fire trucks connected to the fire hydrant and thick water sprayed toward the mall building. But it was useless against the raging fire. This was not an ordinary fire. Many water users, martial spirit warrior, used water to put out the fire at the scene. However, it was like a drop in the bucket because the fire was too big. What made Jiangnan puzzled was that there were fire trucks at the scene and anti-explosion cars and military cars. Even the reporters at the news station came and did a live broadcast. At this moment, the fire had also engulfed the 4th and 5th floors and was spreading towards the 6th floor. The reporter at the scene said to the camera, I'm Hu Shua, a news station reporter. It is now 8:03 p.m. Jiang City Walmart suddenly burst into fire. We can see that the fire is fierce, and Jiang City Fire Brigade is actively carrying out rescue operations. There are also many enthusiastic water users, martial spirit warrior, helping on the scene. But the situation is still not optimistic. The area below the mall is too narrow to set up an air cushion. Now many people are trapped on the 6th floor of the mall and can't get out. Then the camera shifted to the window on the 6th floor of the mall. There was already a mother holding a child who could not stand the smoke and was ready to jump down. Right now, the firefighters are setting up a ladder to save people. The members of Martial Spirit Association are also on their way. Zhou Ningxue looked anxious. I'm not afraid of fire, but I can't bring people down. Xia Yao was also anxiously said, the 6th floor is too high. I can't jump that high. Jiangnan had a serious expression, I have a way. Xiaonan. You. Before the two of them finished speaking, Jiangnan had already rushed to the front of the crowd. Just as he was about to enter, he was stopped by the armed police. Little brother, it's dangerous inside. Don't go in. Jiangnan anxiously explained, I am martial spirit warrior. I have a way to save people. The armed police were stunned at first and immediately said, okay. Go over there and register first. It is a special period. We have to be on guard. Please understand and be careful. You still have to register. But looking at the explosion-proof car and military car, Jiangnan knew that things were not so simple. Just as he was about to register. At this moment, a loud explosion sounded again, and the raging fire rushed through the window for more than 10 meters. 4 figures jumped out of the window and flew to the roof of the opposite building. Then, they fled frantically. Then, a figure wearing a black jacket jumped down from the 6th floor of the mall. Boom. With a loud bang, it smashed into a jeep. The jeep was smashed flat by this figure. The person that jumped down from the 6th floor was wearing a beret and a black jacket. It was actually an unusually tall woman. The jacket was also charred. The woman wiped her charred face. Then she walked to the military car, tore off the car door, and threw it on the side of the road. Chase after them. The military car roared and drove in the direction where the few people escaped. Several people in black jackets hidden in the crowd also left silently and chased after her. Jiangnan gulped. This woman was too violent. What kind of abnormal physical fitness was this? Everyone had just recovered from a series of shocks. But at this moment, the woman standing on the 6th floor fell while holding the child because the fire was too intense. The crowd exclaimed. Even the reporter, Hu Shua, was shocked. Ah! She fell down. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Jiangnan, F***CK. It's too late. Bro. I'll make up for the record later. Before the armed police could react, Jiangnan's figure instantly disappeared. Ha! Then, under everyone's astonished gazes, Jiangnan suddenly appeared in midair. He hugged the mother and child who had fallen in midair. He teleported again. And landed successfully. Hu Shua was stunned for a moment, then excitedly said, "Did everyone see it? Someone made a move. What is that? Teleportation. My God. It was too thrilling. He teleported into the air to save someone. Fortunately, the mother and child are safe." There was a burst of cheers in the crowd. Nothing was more exciting than this. The armed police brother gave Jiangnan a thumbs up. Xia Yao jumped up happily, "Yay! Xiaonan is so handsome. Teleportation. It really is teleportation." Zhong Yingxue was so excited that her face turned red, and she secretly clenched her fists. She was extremely proud and gratified in her heart. That was her younger brother. She saw that the mother and child pair who Jiangnan had saved had a grateful expression on their faces. However, their bodies trembled incessantly due to excessive shock, and they could not even speak clearly. "Auntie, don't be nervous. It's all right. Do you know how many people there are in the mall?" The mother said in a trembling voice, "There are still about 50 or 60 people left. I don't know if it is all, but there might be more." When Jiangnan heard this, his heart chilled. There are so many people. There is no time to set up the ladders. By the time everything is over, the fire will have already swallowed up the entire floor. He quickly turned his head and said, "Firefighter comrade. There are too many people up there. I will go save them first." When the firefighter heard this, he said, "Hey, little brother, put on the bunker gear first. It's hot up there." But before he could finish speaking, Jiangnan had already disappeared. In less than 10 seconds, Jiangnan returned with a person in one hand. Without waiting for anyone to speak, he disappeared again. This time, Jiangnan carried 2 on his shoulders, 2 in his hands, and 1 under his armpit. The people watching were shocked. Jiangnan used teleportation to drag down more than 20 people in just a minute. They all cheered, whether it was the onlookers, the armed police, or the firefighter. Chapter 32. Sailor Moon Shuttle in the Fire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The person who Jiangnan dragged out hasn't reacted yet. They were rescued somehow. The crowd was filled with cheers and whistling sounds. This little brother is too fierce. A heartless rescue machine. He is young, but he is really brave. How dangerous is the fire? He Isn't he the ruthless man who smashes bricks at Jiang City night market? So it's him. The boss is mighty. At this moment, Ushua from the news channel was also passionately explaining. Let's turn the camera to the little brother who rushed into the fire to save people. It seems that he should still be a student, but at the same time, he is also a very strong martial spirit warrior. In just a minute, 20.7 people have already been pulled out from the fire. Ah! His clothes are on fire. Jiangnan was stunned and turned back to slap his short-sleeved shirt. Only then did he realize that his clothes had been burned several holes. The temperature in the fire field was extremely high, and even Jiangnan was extremely uncomfortable with the heat. Without much time to think, he casually took out a bucket of vigorous potion from the alternate dimension and poured it over his body. There was no other way. 10,000 per bottle of Farmer's 3 punches were used to bath. He was just so rich and inhumane. Jiangnan, who was stimulated by the cold water, shivered. He felt a force coming out of his body. He couldn't help but be stunned. Could vigorous potion still be applied externally? Jiangnan was so frightened that he quickly touched his head. Fortunately, he wasn't bald. Jiangnan's eyes lit up as if he had discovered a new continent. But he didn't have time to think about it. He rushed into the fire again to save people. Not long after, he brought 2 more people out. The vigorous potion in his body turned into steam due to the high temperature and drifted in the night sky. Hu Shua was touched and said, "Did everyone see that? This little brother's beautiful Sailor Moon's short sleeves have been burned with holes. It is easy to imagine how dangerous it is in the raging fire. But he still insists on saving people despite his own comfort. This fearless spirit makes people shed silent tears." However, many people in the crowd could not hold back and burst out laughing. "Why don't you just say that the short sleeve was burnt? What beautiful Sailor Moon! Wasn't it too dazzling for you?" The beautiful Sailor Moon phrase broke the originally serious scene of putting out the fire. Hu Shua smiled awkwardly. He knew that he had made a mistake and stuck out his tongue. In the raging fire, the bathroom was filled with thick smoke. A cute little girl with 2 cute meatballs in her hair was squatting on the sink. She was holding a phone in her hand. She was broadcasting. The girl's blackened face was covered in tears. She asked pitifully, Will I die here?" The phone screen was full of bullet messages. "Xiaoyu, don't be afraid. Stay here and don't go out. Someone will come to save you. The firefighter is already there. Turn on the tap, turn it on." Yu Qingqing followed the instructions of the netizens and managed to hold on until now. "I'm watching the live broadcast of the news channel. A fierce person will rush in to save you. I'm watching too. More than 20 of them have been carried out. Sailor Moon. F***ck. Yu Qingqing's eyes lit up. She wiped away her tears. "Someone will come to save me. Sailor Moon." At this moment, Yu Qingqing heard someone shout from the outside, "Is there anyone else? Make a sound. If you don't make a sound, I'm leaving." Yu Qingqing hurriedly shouted, "Squeak! Squeak! Squeak!" The bullet screen exploded. "You deserve to be trapped. This silly girl. What are you squeaking about? Report your location." Yu Qingqing wiped her tears and quickly reported the location. "Here. The bathroom." After a few seconds, there was a bang sound. The bathroom door was kicked open. Yu Qingqing only saw a tall figure walking in the thick smoke. She said excitedly, "Sailor Moon. Is that you?" Jiangnan rolled his eyes, "I'm Balala. The little magic fairy." Yu Qingqing discovered that Sailor Moon was imprinted in front of Jiangnan's sleeves. The barrage in the live broadcast room immediately exploded. "This brother is also a talent. Haha. Balala the little magic fairy. Her entire body has changed. It's Gunala, the goddess of darkness. I'm saved. I'm finally saved. Are you Sailor Moon? No, the little fairy. Haha. Yu Qingqing blushed as she looked at Jiangnan. This was a little handsome. Even the black dust could not hide the handsomeness of Jiangnan. On the contrary, it added a bit of manliness to him. Without any explanation, Jiangnan carried Yu Qingqing and teleported out. Before Yu Qingqing could react, she had already been rescued. She stood there in a daze, wanting to thank Jiangnan. However, Jiangnan had already charged into the fire once again. Unable to calm down for a long time, she saw Zhong Yingxue and Xia Yao in the crowd. She pounced over and wailed. Xiao Shui, Yao Yao. It scared me to death. Woo, woo. The two of them finally recognized that this girl was Yu Qingqing, their classmates. Zhong Yingxue patted Yu Qingqing on the back and comforted her, "Good girl. It's all in the past. It's all right now." Xia Yao looked worried. "I wonder how Jiangnan is doing. He's only a black iron rank 10 star and teleports frequently. Can his spiritual energy support it?" Yu Qingqing was stunned. "Yao Yao. You know Sailor Moon." Zhong Yingxue smiled. "He is my younger brother. His name is Jiangnan." Yu Qingqing was pleasantly surprised. Was this fate? At this time, Jiangnan went back and forth more than 10 times. His face was already ashen. Just as Xia Yao had said, he did not have enough spiritual energy. Fortunately, he had already rescued 63 people. Jiangnan wanted to go in and confirm if there was no one left for the last time. He teleported in again. After a round of inspection, he was sure that there was no one around and was about to leave. He didn't know what had tripped him. So he looked down. It was actually a person. It was a blonde, blue-eyed foreign man. One of his arms had been torn off, and the rest of his arms and legs were broken beyond recognition. At this moment, he was staring at Jiangnan with wide eyes. How could he still be so calm after being injured like this? Interesting. Tisk, tsk, tsk. Brother, you are so miserable. Don't be afraid, I will save you. As he spoke, he was about to help him out. Foreign young man. What do you mean by, "I'm really miserable"? And you don't even have a little sympathy. Then, he frantically crawled to the side like a madman. "I don't need you to save me. Just let me die." His fluent Chinese stunned Jiangnan. Jiangnan said righteously, "How is this possible? As one of the 3 best young men in the society, how could I not help?" The foreign young man's eyes were filled with despair. He raised his head and slammed into a pillar at the side. Even though his face was covered in blood, he was still unable to kill himself. Jiangnan's heart ached. "Hey! How can you treat yourself like this? Your body, hair, and skin are the work of your parents." As he spoke, he carried the foreign boy on his back. From Alexander Tchaikovsky's Resentment Value plus 1000. Good fellow. This was the first time he had seen such a long name. Alexander struggled wildly on Jiangnan's back. "Don't. I beg you. Let me die." Jiangnan, no. Life is precious. Alexander looked desperate. "Just let me die." No. You are lucky to survive after being injured like this. Do you know that you will be blessed if you survive a disaster? Alexander was really under a lot of pressure now. Chapter 33. Professional Advertising. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If he were to leave here alive, Alexander was going crazy. Can't you see that I'm waiting to die here? Who told you to be filled with sympathy? There will be good fortune after surviving a great disaster. He only knew that he would definitely live a worse life than death. Jiangnan felt Alexander struggle and laughed coldly. He was injured to such an extent, yet he was still calmly waiting for death. It would be strange if he were an ordinary person. Then, he thought back to the scene he had seen earlier. The identity of this person was already obvious. Do you want to die? Yours truly won't let you die. Let me die. I'm begging you. Alexander was about to cry. Jiangnan, no. Life is precious. If you let me die, I will give you money. How much? Alexander. Just now, you said life was precious and could not be measured by money. And now he asked for the price. From Alexander Tchaikovsky's Resentment Value plus 666. I have. Jiangnan threw him to the ground and began to feel his body. Ow. Be gentler. Ah. Don't touch my arm. Oh. It hurts. It hurts. It's in my left pocket. Jiangnan took out a pistol, 3 passports, a mobile phone, 250 yuan. He couldn't help but curl his lips. Your life is quite cheap. Only 250. What's the password for your phone? Is there any money in WeChat? What about Alipay? I think your belt is also pretty good. Alexander glared at him. Jiangnan raised his hand and slapped his mouth. Half of his teeth were gone. Alexander, I saved you out of kindness, and you still scold me. From Alexander's Resentment Value plus 1000. Jiangnan grinned, picked up his belt, and teleported away, throwing him to the ground. Seeing Jiangnan pull out a foreign young man covered in blood, everyone was stunned. Jiangnan said to the brother armed policeman, this man is called Alexander. Is he the person you want? The armed policeman stared at him. Wasn't this the man on the hunt list? A group of people came up at that time, and the gun muzzle was directed on Alexander's head. Alexander said like a mad dog, shoot. Shoot. Jiangnan squatted down and slapped him again, then his eye rolled and fainted. The sudden, crisp sound shocked many people. So fierce. They all stared at Jiangnan in shock. Jiangnan grinned and said, this guy is looking for death. Don't kill him. I think he has some important information. The armed police brother smiled bitterly. You almost slapped him to death. Russia's gold rank martial spirit warrior. This kid has done a lot of things. It's all thanks to you that we capture him. Good job. Jiangnan stood up with a guilty face. What the F***ck? Gold rank. Then earlier. Thinking back, Jiangnan gulped. How fierce would that woman who jumped down from the 6th floor be? When the armed police took Alexander into the car, Jiangnan got up, and the rescued people came to thank him, then a little girl gave him flowers. Jiangnan was embarrassed and scratched his head, looking a little shy. The firefighters in the distance gave Jiangnan a thumbs up, and the onlookers also gave warm applause. As soon as he turned around, Hushua surrounded him with cameras. Because he was too excited, the microphone almost pushed into Jiangnan's mouth. Jiangnan. Hushua had an apologetic look on his face and said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Just now, you rushed in without hesitation to save someone. May I ask what you are thinking? Are you afraid? Jiangnan was stunned and asked, live broadcast. Live broadcast. Hushua said with a smile. Everyone can see it. Yes. The news channel is being played in real time. He saw Jiangnan wipe his face. He cleared his throat. He said seriously, Jiangnan night market, headbands, and underpants. It is all cheap. 10 yuan for 2. There are also farmers 3. Hushua was stunned. What was going on? This was an interview. Why was there an advertisement? Do you have to be so dedicated? Wasn't it too much down to earth? Cut it quickly. Hurry. From Hu Shua's resentment value plus 888. From Xia Yao's resentment value plus 666, from Zhong Yingshue's resentment value plus 333. The list of resentment was refreshed crazily at this moment. Jiang Nan was getting crazy. He advertised and earned resentment points at the same time. Both fame and wealth. The crowd burst into laughter. In front of the TV, Tang Qianya, who was watching TV in the living room, observed Jiang Nan's interview. A mouthful of cola was sprayed all over her brother. Hu Shua smiled bitterly. Name. You can tell me your name, right? Jiang Nan said, my name is Jiang Haoran. Hu Shua. Do you have to be so superficial? When he wanted to ask again, Jiang Nan had already teleported away. Xia Yao pounced over and hugged Jiang Nan with a face full of smiles in the crowd. You were so handsome just now. You even saved Xiao Yu. Great. I'll give you a big reward later. Jiang Nan said with a serious face, what do you mean? Xia Yao rubbed Jiang Nan's face, you are so handsome. Zhong Yingxue was also pinching and touching, making Jiang Nan itch. Xiao Nan. Are you injured? I was so worried just now. Looking at Zhong Yingshue's worried look, Jiang Nan felt warm in his heart. He smiled and said, Sister Shui, I'm fine. Seeing that Jiang Nan was still alive and kicking, Zhong Yingxue finally relaxed. Yu Qingqing, who had a black face and a bun on her head, came over and said excitedly, thank you for saving me just now. Jiang Nan, hey. This black sister speaks Chinese pretty well. Yu Qingqing. She regretted not washing her face just now. From Yu Qingqing's resentment value plus 333. Xia Yao laughed until tears came out of her eyes. She wiped Qingqing's face with her hand, she is Xiao Yu. Our classmate. Jiang Nan's expression became serious, little sister. Do you want to add me on WeChat? Yu Qingqing's face turned red hitting. Was he hitting on me? Okay. Jokes. How could Jiang Nan let go of such a good friend list opportunity? That would be impossible. By the way, Sister Shui, do you know who are those people wearing black jackets were? Zhong Yingxue said, it should be the Special Combat Force of China, the Night Legion. Jiang Nan was stunned, Night Legion. This was the first time he had heard of it. Xia Yao said with great familiarity, not only do we have the Night Legion, but we also have the Dragon Abyss Legion, and they work together. Also, they are all made up of martial spirit warrior. The Night Legion protects the land. The Dragon Abyss Legion raise our country's prestige. They are all secret troops. Remember to keep it a secret, okay? Jiang Nan curled his lips, you already said it was a secret. How do you know? Zhong Yingxue snickered, Xiaoyao's brother is a member of the Dragon Abyss. Jiang Nan. Therefore, Jiang Nan was even more determined to hug her tight. Chapter 34. Blonde Big Sister. You are listening at novelfull.audio. They were not in the mood anymore to eat hot pot after what happened. Zhong Yingxue and Xia Yao sent Xiao Yu home first. Jiang Nan was also in a hurry to go home. By coincidence, he poured a lot of vigorous potion on his body. It also has the effect of strengthening physical fitness without getting bald. Only getting bald if taken orally. It would be great. On the way home, he bought a bathtub. In a forest in the suburbs of Jiang City. The area within 300 meters was a mess, it was covered in flying grass and a huge pit. The military car was also turned to scrap. A woman wearing a beret cap, a short ponytail, and a black leather jacket was standing beside the car with a gloomy face. She was really tall, about 1.9 meters. She was about 20.5 or 20.6 years old, with a pair of sharp eyes, shining with a cold light. Her entire body exuded a fierce aura, like a beast hunting its prey, cold and ruthless. She wiped the blood off her face, leaving clear marks on her white face. At this moment, her subordinates were searching for the 3 corpses under her feet. "Major, the things are not on these people." The tall woman narrowed her eyes slightly. "During the mission, call me by my code name." "Yes. Captain Bobcat." Bobcat narrowed her eyes and said, "Since it is not here, it is on the poisonous snake. Search the entire city. We can't let anything slip out. She's injured. She won't be able to escape the blockade. Find her." The officer said, "We've already sent people to do a carpet search to narrow the encirclement area." At this moment, Bobcat hesitated. "How is the situation at the mall?" The officer said, "The fire has been put out. 12 deaths. 30.7 injured." Bobcat was stunned. She was a little surprised by this number. Logically speaking, there should be more. At that time, the situation was urgent, and she had no time to save anyone. If she let the thing go, the harm it would cause would only be greater. After the captain chased out, there was a space system martial spirit warrior who used teleportation to save everyone trapped in the mall. Oh. By the way, Alexander, who the captain disabled, was not dead. He was also rescued and detained in Jiang City Police Station. Bobcat was stunned. Li Daotian made a move. The officer smiled bitterly. How could it have alarmed Li Daotian? It's a third-year student called Jiangnan. Bobcat's eyes shone with a fierce light. In China, there were many talented people. But so far, there was only one space system martial spirit warrior. It was Li Mingshan, or his widely known name Li Daotian. The second space system. Why didn't the military know about it? The officer smacked his lips and didn't know what to say. "Captain, this is his information. Look, grade E talent is really useless. The most awesome ability and the worst talent." It really was. Bobcat carefully checked the information, including the video recording of his rescue. 21 teleportations, the limit is 100 meters. The spiritual energy is still not exhausted. At least black iron 10 stars. You tell me this is an E-grade talent. The officer was stunned. Captain is saying. The talent test went wrong. Bobcat watched the video of Jiangnan walking out of the shopping mall. Her expression gradually changed. "I want all his information. Alexander, bring it up for me. I want to interrogate him personally." Jiangnan was pouring barrel after barrel of vigorous potion into the bathtub. His eyes were filled with excitement. After 10 buckets, the bathtub was filled up. Tisk, tsk. Tens of millions for a bath. Even the local tyrant in Dubai isn't as rich as me, right? A beautiful fantasy. Jiangnan took off his clothes and jumped into the bathtub. The cold water made him shiver. Jiangnan, who was soaking in the bathtub, closed his eyes comfortably. He could feel waves of energy gushing out of his body. It was not as direct as orally. It was crude and straightforward. The energy contained in vigorous potion continued to improve Jiannan's physique. Moreover, this transformation did not look like the oral intake, which only had 3 days and 3 nights of effect. Instead, it was a permanent transformation that increased his physical fitness. His senses, defensive power, motor nerves, and other aspects all increased. I'm really AF * king talent. As expected, good people will be rewarded. If he hadn't rushed into the fire to save people, he wouldn't have discovered this function of vigorous potion. He just lay there comfortably for half an hour. Until Jiangnan felt that the medical power absorbed by his body had reached a saturation point. It had directly reached 10 times the physical quality of his previous body. Moreover, it was under the condition that he had not consumed vigorous potion. He could only wait until tomorrow to soak again. This improvement was gradual, so it was naturally impossible to succeed in one session. Looking at vigorous potion in the bathtub, there was still a lot of medical strength left in it. Should I pour it back into the bottle and sell it? Hey, hey, hey. This idea is a bit despicable. Be diligent and thrifty, recycle and then use. You have to take the road to sustainable development. But isn't this same as someone drinking my bathwater? Jiangnan shivered with excitement. This felt strange. He couldn't help but give up this idea. Jiangnan lowered his head to admire his perfect body. TSK, TSK, TSK. Look at this perfect muscle line, the angular abdominal muscles, well proportioned but not bloated. This skin was as tender as a baby. This elasticity. Wait. There seemed to be something wrong. Jiangnan looked at his waist and abdomen. What the hell? What was going on? Jiangnan was so scared that he quickly touched his hair. His eyebrows were still there. And then, no hair below his eyebrows. Jiangnan cursed, F*****. Detected that the host has insulted the system. Deduct 1,000 yuan in cash. Jiangnan, who was so angry that his teeth itched, felt his heart ache. However, he accepted it after thinking about it. For the sake of strength, would losing a forest be a problem? Anyway, no one could see it. Just treat it as a small secret that only belonged to him. He heard a bang sound from the roof at this moment. The roof had been smashed open. And then a person fell down just like that. Jiangnan was stunned and was just about to get out of the bathtub. His entire body was pressed down, and a dagger with a dim light was pressed against Jiangnan's neck. Immediately after, Jiangnan felt a ball of softness pressing against his back. A scent of orchids mixed with the smell of blood rushed into his nose. A long golden hair slid down Jiangnan's shoulder to the bathtub. An extreme sense of danger surged into Jiangnan's heart. He was about to turn around. The dagger cut his skin with a slight force. The woman behind him leaned close to Jiangnan's ear and whispered, "Little Didi, don't move. If you move again, you will die." The whisper tickled Jiangnan, and his body froze, not daring to turn back. However, he still said in a muffled voice, "Big sister. I'm not little Didi." The blonde girl looked down at the bathtub. "Oh, it's so clean. And you still say that you are not little Didi." Jiangnan. Damn. What you said makes sense. I can't even refute it. Chapter 35. She bit me. She pierced me. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Jiangnan's mind was spinning wildly. This woman was definitely not an ordinary martial spirit warrior. The spiritual energy surging from her entire body made Jiangnan feel suffocated. What was going on? I was just taking a bath at home. I even lost my forest just as he said that no one could see it. A person fell down. Not only did she see everything clearly, but she even broke the roof of his house. Could she be one of the few people who escaped from the mall? The crippled Alexander was a gold rank. What level was this woman at? Where was the Night Legion? Why did they let her walk around in the middle of the night? Hey, hey, hey. The woman had blonde hair and was dressed in black tights. Her figure was also good. She had a high nose bridge, a delicate collarbone, and a pair of deep blue eyes. She was a typical Russian girl. However, the girl slowly approached Jiangnan, one hand holding a dagger against his neck. The other hand gently climbed onto Jiangnan's chest, groping all the way down. All of a sudden, Jiangnan felt his earlobe become moist. The blonde girl actually bit Jiangnan's earlobe. Jiangnan was about to explode. Damn! Don't you dare touch me! What the hell were you doing? Don't. If you continue, the dragon will rise. Big sister. I have had weak kidneys and a weak constitution since I was young. I can't stand being tossed around. You. If you really want to. I will introduce you to someone. F***CK. Big sister. You are on the way to no return. Do you have to be so thirsty? The blonde girl seemed to be angry at Jiangnan's words and fiercely bit him. Jiangnan felt a piercing pain in his earlobe. In a split second, it was as if all his strength had been sucked away, and he could not move. From Katrina's resentment value plus 666. What are you thinking about? Smelly brother. Your physical fitness is not bad. You should be able to withstand it. As she spoke, she took out a reagent that was emitting red light from her back. She then stabbed it towards Jiangnan's heart. A heart-wrenching pain assaulted him. However, Jiangnan could only watch as the blonde girl pushed all the reagents into his heart. Jiangnan, F***CK me. What the hell did you prick me with? Tetanus. It must be tetanus, right? Otherwise, it would be a rabies vaccine. It definitely wasn't some genetic reagent or an extremist virus or something. This is poison. Don't run around. Wait for me to come back and find you. Regardless of whether you live or die, you are still this sister's man. Jiangnan's head buzzed. Fuck. Was it really poison? Can't you leave me some space to imagine? Jiangnan was furious. If she continues playing like this, I'm afraid I'll be played to death by this Caucasian. He tried his best to teleport. And instantly disappeared into the bathtub. Katrina was stunned for a moment. Spatial ability. Teleportation. Jiangnan felt his heart beating like a drum. The power in his body increased exponentially. His blood flowed rapidly, and his body seemed to be burning. His skin had a strange dark red color. Damn. This poison is too strong. Jiangnan was so scared that he quickly took out a piece of detoxification small soybeans and swallowed it. The feeling of powerlessness and dizziness disappeared in an instant. He felt refreshed. Then, he clenched his fist and smashed it at Katrina. Bang! The bathtub exploded with a single punch from Jiangnan. Katrina barely managed to dodge the punch, her face full of shock. He had just been injected with snake venom, how could he still move? However, Jiangnan did not care. He rushed forward naked and roared, "Invincible choke hold." Katrina was severely injured, and her abdomen and shoulders were covered in blood. However, her sensitive reaction was still there. The dagger in her hand flashed and slashed at Jiangnan's neck. It was like a poisonous snake hiding in the darkness. But Jiangnan disappeared in front of her in a blink of an eye. Before Katrina could turn around, Jiangnan had already grabbed her by the throat. His body was like an octopus as he wrapped around her. Then the two of them fell to the ground. Katrina's face was full of pain as she struggled. Jiangnan was not polite. An anti-joint skill pinned her arm away. To Jiangnan's surprise, her arm had been pinned to a strange degree, but it was not broken. It was as if there were no bones. However, this also restricted her movements. Katrina was driven mad. Was China so scary? A random person she met was a space user martial spirit warrior. He was also proficient in close combat, his strength was terrifying, and his physical fitness was terrifying. You let me go. I won't let you go. Jiangnan shook his head. Katrina was furious, let go. You're hitting me. Jiangnan, you're wearing clothes. What are you afraid of? From Katrina's resentment value plus 999. Was this problem of not wearing clothes? The problem was that you were not wearing it. The two of them were in an extremely terrible position at this moment. Jiangnan lay on her back and locked her throat tightly. Two of his legs were pinning her legs, and one of his hands was on her arm. Wasn't he on top of her? At this moment, the sound of footsteps came from the roof. Quick! She is here. He saw 4 people wearing black leather jackets, 3 men and 1 woman, looking through the hole in the roof. He was stunned. What was the situation? Was the scene so exciting? Jiang Nan, whose entire body was naked, held the blonde beauty tightly. Katrina was anxious and a surge of spiritual energy erupted. She spat out a mouthful of blood and blew Jiang Nan away. She then turned around and looked at Jiang Nan with hatred, stinky little brother. Just you wait. She soared into the air as she spoke, broke through the blockade, and escaped. Jiang Nan stood up and patted the dust off his body. Then looked up at the hole in the roof. 2 of the 4 of them went after her, leaving a man and a woman staring at him in a daze. The man had a serious face, and the woman blushed. She glanced at Jiang Nan and spat softly. The male Knight Legion, what happened just now? Jiang Nan immediately became spirited. Reinforcements. Such lovely people. He righteously complained, the big sister with blonde hair just now bit me and stabbed me. The male Knight Legion soldier's face turned black. She stabbed you. I think it was you who stabbed her, right? How fierce. The male Knight Legion ran off to chase after her as he spoke. The female Knight Legion fiercely glared at Jiang Nan and went to chase after him with a red face. Jiang Nan, Damn. What I said was the truth. She really bit me and even stabbed me. What do you mean by I stab her? What do I have to stab her with? Were you leaving just like that? Weren't you going to commend me? I don't need any of these. At least repair my roof. What the hell was this? Jiang Nan looked down at himself. There was a needle wound on his chest and a small wound on his earlobe. The feeling of his heart beating wildly and his blood burning had disappeared. TSK. What kind of poison is this? Isn't it still unable to defeat my detoxification small soybeans? Tonight was destined to be sleepless. This was because Jiang Nan had spent the entire night repairing the roof and squatting in the toilet. Chapter 36. This woman loves to jump off the building. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next morning, Jiang Nan sat in the class with big dark circles under his eyes. Thinking of what happened last night, he felt angry. What kind of people were they? But this morning, the atmosphere in the class was unusually warm. They were all talking about the big explosion in the mall last night. Last night, the whole city was sealed. I heard it has something to do with the explosion in the mall. Someone saw a group of mysterious people in black jackets searching the city. It can't be the secret forces, right? Li Xiang curled his lips and said, what do you know? That is Knight Legion, the most mysterious force in our country. Brother Xiang is awesome. How do you know? Li Xiang said with a little pride, my cousin is in the armed police force. He even participated in the operation yesterday. The students immediately became spirited. What's the situation? Tell me the details. Yes. Yes. Li Xiang said mysteriously, it's all confidential. I will tell you, but you must not spread it. I heard that it was an action from Russia. They sneaked into our side and stole a bunch of things. They escaped from the capital to here. They probably wanted to cross the border by the river, but they were captured here by our people. They were also the ones who caused the explosion in the mall yesterday. The students' eyes lit up as they complimented, how awesome. You can even get this piece of information. Awesome. Awesome. Li Xiang smiled and turned to look at Jiang Nan. His eyes were full of pride. A classmate suddenly said, I watched the live broadcast of the news station yesterday. Did you see the woman who jumped down from the 6th floor? I saw it too. It was too fierce. She tore off the car door with a single pull. Speaking of which, last night, Nan Shen was really a bit strong. While speaking, many students turned their eyes to Jiang Nan. Some had complicated expressions, while others gave thumbs up. Last night, many people watched the live news broadcast. When they saw it was Jiang Nan, they were stunned. Li Xiang was stunned. Jiang Nan. What's his relationship with him? Brother Xiang. You don't know. Yesterday, the mall exploded, and Nan Shen was at the scene. He used teleportation to rush into the fire. He saved more than 60 people. I heard that he brought a foreigner and was escorted away by the armed police. It's really awesome. I still have yesterday's video. A girl is trapped in a fire and is still broadcasting. Then, someone in the class group shared a video on Weibo. Jiang City Evening News. Title. At Nan Shen. An enthusiastic brother who crosses the fire. Was his true identity actually be Sailor Moon? Little Magic Fairy. A high school student. No. His true identity was actually a night market stall owner. In the video, there were scenes of Jiang Nan saving people. There was also the conversation between Yu Qingqing and him that made people laugh. There was also the last scene of Jiang Nan advertising. The number of views was more than 1 million. Even Jiang City's firefighter also forwarded and at Nan Shen. In summary. The young are strong, so does the country. Good job. On behalf of the rescued personnel and all comrades from Jiang City Fire Brigade, thank you. The comments below were completely blown up. Ha ha ha. The strongest stall owner in history. 10 yuan for 2 pairs of pants. I laughed. From today onwards, I'm in love with the buzz cut. Good job, little brother. Xiao Yu, I'm paying attention to you. I'm especially concerned. Solitary Moonlight Wolf, you owe me a candy. I want to eat it. Now. I want to eat. Wu Liang, Big Brother is awesome. Xiao Tang Tang, I burst into laughter and was beaten by my little brother. Poor me, Jiang Nan scratched his head. So many people were on Weibo. That Xiao Tang Tang was Tang Qianya. What was the situation on Xia Yao's side? Reply to Xia Yao, just wait a little bit. He saw that his Weibo fans had risen to more than 100,000. Li Xiang's expression turned ugly, and he felt even worse in his heart. He was still bragging about the news here. In the end, Jiang Nan had personally participated in the rescue operation. He even helped the armed police catch a person. A huge sense of loss and disparity made Li Xiang go crazy. But he couldn't say anything. Li Mayan and the others had ugly expressions. He was originally a trash-like existence in the class. He was also ridiculed and suppressed by everyone. But now, he was in the limelight. Her heart was getting more and more stifled. Not long after, they heard the ear-piercing sound of car brakes. Someone curiously looked out of the window. Damn! 3 military vehicles have arrived. Quite a few people have come down. Let me take a look. What's going on? Why are military vehicles coming to our school? A group of people suddenly appeared by the window of the entire class. Jiang Nan also looked over curiously. Sure enough, he saw 3 green military vehicles. The people coming down had already entered the teaching building. Jiang Nan muttered in his heart. Could it be that the blonde beauty had been caught? Were they here to reward him? Hey! I knew it. He had made such a great contribution last night and successfully stalled the blonde beauty. How could there not be a commendation? Just as the students were enthusiastically discussing the military vehicle, there was a rush of footsteps coming from the corridor. The 1.9-meter tall bobcat lowered her head a little before entering the classroom. She wore an all-black military uniform with military boots and no epaulette on her shoulders. Behind her were 2 Night Legion soldiers, a man and a woman. They were the 2 on the roof last night. The originally noisy classroom was completely quiet. The students were all dumbfounded. What was going on? Night Legion's people. Wasn't the tall woman in the lead the one who jumped down from the 6th floor last night? Why did she come to their classroom? The long and narrow eyes of Bobcat scanned the class. All the people she stared at felt a cold wind blowing from their backs as if they were stabbed in the heart by a knife. They were so scared that they sat up straight and did not even dare to breathe. Bobcat's eyes fell on Jiangnan, then she looked back at the 2 people behind her. Captain. That's right. It's him. Bobcat nodded, and under the stunned gaze of the student, she went straight to Jiangnan's desk. A pair of phoenix eyes that were full of sharpness quietly looked at Jiangnan. The classroom was dead silent. Jiangnan scratched his head in embarrassment. There's no need to make such a big fuss. It's embarrassing. In fact, he was already prepared to receive praise. Come on. Let the praise be more intense. Clang. Clang. A black handcuff was thrown on the table. Do you want to wear it yourself, or do you want me to help you? Jiangnan. Damn. Something was wrong. The script was wrong. What about the commendation? Where's the medal? Why does your medal look so much like handcuffs? So King trendy. He said weakly, Why don't you flip through your pockets again and see if you got it wrong? Bobcat stared at Jiangnan expressionlessly and took out a black hood from her pocket. Jiangnan. It's over. This was a 2-piece criminal suit. Run. He had to run. This black hood was very spiritual. Were they fake Night Legion? But when he thought of Alexander's miserable condition, Jiangnan shivered. Run. Run under the eyes of this woman who tore the car door. Forget it. They saw Jiangnan swiftly put on the handcuffs and black hood. After pondering for a moment, he said, Is there also a lunch? The corner of Bobcat's eyes twitched as she picked up Jiangnan's collar. She opened the window and jumped down. A dull thud was heard. Jiangnan could hear the wind whistling in his ears. He couldn't help but scream. Did she jump off the building again? What kind of fetish was this? Wasn't it good for us to take the stairs? The 2 Night Legion who followed her were also speechless and hurriedly chased after them. Behind them was the principal, who was sweating and trembling all over. The students in the classroom were utterly stunned. What was going on? Had Jiangnan been taken away by the Night Legion army? Chapter 37. Take off. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As Jiangnan was taken away, the class completely exploded. Those 3 military vehicles came just to catch Nanshan. That's the Night Legion army. Their momentum is too scary. They must have seen blood. Why did you arrest Nanshan? They even prepare a black hood and handcuffs. Didn't Nanshan catch a Russian yesterday? He isn't going to help solve the case, is he? The students in the class were in a heated discussion. They were all young people, so they were naturally extremely curious about the mysterious forces of the country. Even the students of the other classes were curiously looking out the window. They watched helplessly as Jiangnan was stuffed into the military car and stepped on the accelerator to take him away. Li Xiang sneered, "All of you stop. Jiangnan is done for. The handcuffs restrict martial spirit warrior's ability. Saving people in the mall. Ha! Those things don't have any connection with those Russians. Lu Chuanwu, even if it is. Why did they catch him? I don't care why they took Nanshan away. He really risked his lives to enter the raging fire last night and carried more than 60 people on his backs. That's living life. No matter what Nanshan did, that was important to me." This time, the class became quiet. Li Xiang, Lu Chuanwu, and the other two could not say anything no matter how sour they were. Jiang Nan, who was sitting in the military car, was extremely honest. Because he could feel it even if he couldn't see. The tall woman called Bobcat was sitting next to him. He moved his wrist slightly. Handcuffs that can restrict abilities. Damn. Wasn't this same as One Piece sea stone handcuffs? It restricts me from using teleportation. They didn't pull me to do some strange human experiments, right? I'm still 216 months and 21 days old, child. Could you not be so heartless? Sister Bobcat. I want to pee. Jiang Nan slightly clamped his legs together and twisted his buttocks uneasily. No one spoke. Sister Bobcat. I think. Bobcat, hold it in. Jiang Nan, dot. Another half an hour passed. Sister Bobcat, I want to take a big one. The corners of Bobcat's eyes twitched, but she still did not speak. Sister Bobcat, I. She did not say anything but stuffed something into Jiang Nan's hand. Jiang Nan feels it. Holy shit. A bottle. To be precise, a plastic water bottle. Were you serious? Hey. I am a big one. How? How was he going to aim? So you guys weren't planning to stop the car? So ruthless. Bobcat raised her eyebrows. What? Do you need me to help you? Help. Help me. How? Jiang Nan suddenly thought of some strange scenes. Then, he couldn't help but shiver. No need. The man driving the car in front of them had a hard time holding back his laughter. They drove for 2 whole hours. Only then did they take off Jiang Nan's black hood. The dazzling light made him a little uncomfortable. At the moment, Jiang Nan was locked on the table. There was no one in the room. This was a separate compartment, surrounded by thick concrete walls. The air was very humid. It should be an underground base or something. Jiang Nan had been locked up here for more than an hour. Ouch. Stop hitting. Ouch. There would be dull thuds coming from the cubicle next to him from time to time. There was also the wailing of someone. From Alexander Tchaikovsky's resentment value plus 1000. He looked at his resentment points that kept refreshing. Jiang Nan shivered. I said this howl was a bit familiar. So it was Alexander. No wonder you were looking for death yesterday. A beating was waiting for him here. If someone beat you up, why would you blame me? I was really kind to save you. Mom, this person was really strange. But Jiang Nan couldn't sit still anymore. Looking at his hands that were handcuffs. Jiang Nan chuckled and flipped his palm. It revealed the little copper wire that he had just pulled out from the military car. He slid it into the keyhole. Triggers kill. Lock picking. LV0. Adding skill points. 100, skill leveled up. Lock picking, proficient. Level 0. How could a pair of broken handcuffs be so hard to deal with? Click. The handcuffs were unlocked, and Jiang Nan crept out. He tried not to make any sound. He did not dare to teleport. Who knew what was going on in this underground base? He sneaked to the door. Jiang Nan opened the door and wanted to run. But he seemed to have bumped into something. So soft, winky face. It was so elastic. He rubbed it again. It was a bit fragrant. But when he looked up, Jiang Nan found that Bobcat was looking down at him. With a cold face, she was like a mountain blocking the door. Did he bump her in the chest? It was very embarrassing. Bobcat had just stood at the door and was about to grab the door handle. In the end, the door handle moved on its own. Jiang Nan's sneaky head popped out, and he slammed into her chest. She looked at the unlocked handcuffs on the table. Then a strong interest appeared in Bobcat's eyes. Jiang Nan said weakly, I want to see. What kind of food is in the canteen at noon? From Luo Tianhong's resentment value plus 614. Luo Tianhong. Hey, that sounds good. Then, he looked at Bobcat, who had a cold expression on her face. Then Jiang Nan obediently entered the room. Bobcat sat on a chair and placed her feet on the table. Behind her stood a man and a woman from the Night Legion army. Bobcat raised her chin at Jiang Nan. Take it off. Jiang Nan. This. What does this mean? You bring me here just to humiliate me. Do you bully people like this? I, Jiang Nan, am a good man. How can I tolerate such humiliation? But Jiang Nan saw the blood on Bobcat's fist that had yet to dry up. Take it off. Just take it off. Jiang Nan quickly took off his shirt and pant, leaving his underpants. It revealed his strong and well-defined muscles. The female soldier couldn't help but secretly swallow her saliva. With his handsome face and 8 abdominal muscles, it really lethal. Jiang Nan crossed his arm in front of his chest and stood there pitifully. Bobcat, continue. Jiang Nan. There was only one left. Continue. If you continue, there will really be no more. Jiang Nan had a face full of grief and indignation, not even leaving me a piece of cloth. The two of them. Bobcat gave him a look. They knew what he meant, so the male Night Legion army came out of the room. Then the female Night Legion army closed the door. She did not go out. What a joke. Such a handsome little brother was standing naked in front of her, how could she miss it? Jiang Nan. He turned his head and looked at Bobcat in grief and indignation. In the end, Bobcat didn't say anything. Good. I'm going all out today. If you guys weren't afraid, why should I be afraid? Then, he cleanly took off his underpants. Bobcat looked at the naked Jiang Nan, and her body leaned forward slightly. She was somewhat surprised. On the other hand, the female Night Legion army kept peeking, and her faces were filled with excitement. What shocked Bobcat was not the muscles on Jiang Nan's body. But there was no hair down there. How old? Jiang Nan said confidently, 20. Bobcat was stunned. Didn't the information say that you were 18 years old? Was it fake? Jiang Nan suddenly understood, So you are asking about age? Bobcat blushed and said fiercely, what do you think it is? Can it be any more cheeky? What kind of magical brain circuit was this? From Luo Tianhong's resentment value plus 666. Sure enough. The boy must protect himself when he goes out. It had only been 2 days. The beautiful blonde girl, Bobcat, and the female Night Legion army. They all discovered his little secrets. Alas. As expected, a person can't be too handsome. It was easy to get retribution. Chapter 38. Xiao Nan. I want to eat candy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Bobcat got up and slowly walked towards Jiang Nan. Jiang Nan was so nervous. She wouldn't be angry and come over to beat me up, right? Jiang Nan couldn't withstand that fist. He definitely had to run. Bobcat circled around Jiang Nan twice. Her eyes kept sweeping over him. Jiang Nan's little heart was about to jump out. Although I am a little handsome, do you need to look at me so directly? Bobcat reached out and touched Jiang Nan's chest. There was still a needle mark that did not yet heal. She then pinched his earlobe. There was a small bite mark on it. Her eyes flickered. She said to the female Night Legion army, take him to draw a tube of blood and then send him back. Jiang Nan. No way. You guys spent so much effort to bring me here. Just to let me strip naked for you guys to see. Where's the lunch? Where's the little medal? You know my little secret. You have to take responsibility. Don't let my whoring for free. Jiangnan put on his clothes with a bitter face. After they finished drawing the blood, he was stuffed into the car again. This time, Bobcat did not personally send him off. The one who sent him was the female Night Legion army. Jiangnan, who was in the car, looked aggrieved. It was mainly because he had not eaten yet. Big sister, what's your name? Are you tired from working at Night Legion army? Are there 5 insurances and 1 housing fund? From a Ning's resentment value plus 666. 5 insurances and 1 housing fund. Were you serious? And Ning helplessly looked at Jiangnan. This was the first time she had encountered such a dishonest person in all these years. But she remembered the exciting scene just now. Her face turned red. Add WeChat. Jiangnan's eyes lit up. Was there a chance? Add. Why not? I like girls like you the most. I feel especially safe beside you. Back at the military base. Bobcat held the blood test report that belonged to Jiangnan, and a rare smile appeared on her face. The male Night Legion army beside her asked doubtfully, "You're letting him go just like that?" The burning blood reagent has clearly been injected into his body and successfully fused. That woman will definitely come back to look for Jiangnan. If we let him go, he might be in danger. Bobcat said, "Danger. He's smart. Wanting to take him away under our noses is tantamount to idiotic dreams. If they want to take him away, they can only do it on a large scale." The male Night Legion army's eyes lit up. "Captain, do you want to set up a long line to catch the big fish?" Bobcat narrowed her eyes and said, "Fishing is secondary. What I really want is the bait. Encrypted Jiangnan's information, and it is forbidden to read it below the senior officer rank." As she spoke, she threw the tablet in her hand to him. He swept through the information and couldn't help but take in a cold breath. Name. Jiangnan. Age. 18. Ability. Space element. Power element. Unable to confirm, has outstanding physical fitness. Talent. SSS Plus, has never appeared in history before, cannot be clearly defined. Cultivation. Black Iron 10 star. Successfully fused with the burning blood reagent. Reason unknown. This time, he finally understood why Bobcat valued Jiangnan so much. This talent was simply abnormal. The school was currently in the middle of the afternoon classes. Jiangnan got out of the military car. And Ning smiled and waved goodbye to him. The whole school noticed this scene. Everyone was shocked. It can't be. I didn't see wrong, right? Night Legion Army personally sent back Nan Shen. His condition is still so good. He was taken away earlier. How could he come back safe and sound? Could he really have gone to assist in the investigation? Awesome. That is Night Legion Army. We are doing radio gymnastics here. Nan Shen is going to Night Legion Army for a stroll. Comparisons are so infuriating. Back in class, Li Xiang and Lu Chuanwu's faces were extremely ugly. In the morning, he even said that he was done for, but in the end, not only did Jiangnan come back in the afternoon, he was even personally sent back. His face was slapped with a loud bang. Jiangnan, on the other hand, had a face full of melancholy. Just now in the car, he had attacked with sweet words. But he failed to get any helpful information from a Ning. As expected of someone who had received professional training. Fortunately, he got her number. At this moment, a group of people surrounded Jiangnan's table. They asked one after another, "Nan Shen. What did they ask you to do? Is it to help solve the case? Where is their base? Is it on Juke Mountain Forest Park? Jiangnan said with a serious face, they told me to go and try the canteen dishes. Students, F asterisk CK. Do you have to be so superficial? From Wang Yiping's resentment value plus 666. From Zhou Hongfeng's resentment value plus 888. From Nan Shen, don't hide. Just say a little. We won't tell anyone. Don't make things difficult for him. Maybe he signed a non-disclosure agreement. Jiangnan shrugged, they told me to go over and take off my clothes. After admiring my perfect figure, they sent me back. A classmate said, Nan Shen, what is there to see for a big man like you? Take off your clothes. A female classmate blushed and said, I really want to see it. Nav Om Jiangnan rolled his eyes. You see. I am telling the truth. Why didn't anyone believe it? The problem was that even Jiangnan himself didn't believe it. What was Night Legion Army up to? Did they arrest him just to see his little secret? Li Xiang said in a strange tone, Heh. You guys better not ask. It doesn't mean necessarily that something has happened. Jiangnan smiled and said, there are some things that I really cannot say. However, they received a notice saying that someone from the armed police force leaked the secret and affected the operation. They are investigating this matter thoroughly. When Li Xiang heard this, his face turned pale. Even if he did not believe what Jiangnan said. But what if? At this time, Li Xiang panicked. Not long after, he went out to make a phone call. The students naturally did not dare to ask too much. The fire rescue and the matter of the Night Legion Army made Jiangnan's image even more mysterious in their eyes. At night, after school, Jiangnan was on his way home. His phone suddenly rang. He took it out and took a look. It was a video call from Wolf Extinction. He accepted it. A breathtakingly beautiful face appeared on the screen. She was like a fairy who had descended from the 9 heavens. She was so beautiful and flawless that no one would have the slightest bit of wicked thoughts. If it is not Zhou Ningxue, who else could it be? Little brother. Xiao Yao has been bothering me for the whole day. She also wants to eat candy. Xia Yao rushed over and stroked Zhou Ningxue's face with her little hand. Look. How beautiful is it? Xiao Nan. I want to eat candy. I'm telling you, your sister is in my hands. If you don't give it to me, you will regret it. Zhou Ningxue was also curious, Xiao Nan. Where did you get your white rabbit milk candy? Why do I feel that I became a little more beautiful after eating it? Xia Yao said fiercely, just a little bit more beautiful. It's a bit more than 100 million. But I don't care. I want to become beautiful too. Jiangnan pouted, I won't give. 3. Chapter 39. Scrambled Eggs with Leek. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xia Yao revealed her cute little tiger teeth, I'm so angry. As she spoke, she threw Zhou Ningxue onto the bed, and Zhou Ningxue's cries of alarm came from the phone. There was also Xia Yao's mischievous laughter. You can scream. No one will come to save you even if you scream until your throat is broken. The screen on the phone was shaking for a while and then the two girls started to bicker. Xiao Yao. Stop rubbing. Stop. Stop. Hee. No. I won't. Ho ho ho. Ho. Jiangnan was speechless. In order to avoid his sister being harmed, he could only compromise. I will give you the candy to eat. Xia Yao immediately became spirited. It's a deal. Jiangnan raised his eyebrows, are you still going to say that I have a beautiful face? Xia Yao shook her head like a rattle drum, I won't say anymore. Xiao Nan is the most handsome. Sister Xia Yao likes you the most. The kind that wants to die after not seeing you for a day. Are you still going to lock my throat? No. How can I bear to do that? I will massage your shoulders and legs and give you melon seeds. Xia Yao was so well behaved that she even deliberately revealed 2 furry wolf ears. Even if Jiannan's heart was as firm as a rock. Even if it was not true, he could not bear the scene in front of him. I like it. Well. I'll get you another one when I get back. Yeah. Xiao Nan is the best. Then she hung up the video call. Jiannan's face froze. Ha! Woman! Jiannan, who had pushed open the door and entered the room, was wondering if he should give him 2 10x draws to try his luck. As a result, he saw a beautiful blonde girl in a white short-sleeved shirt standing in his room. Not to mention her bare feet, her lower body was also bare. Her big white legs were simply eye-catching. Moreover, the half-sleeve she was wearing was his. There was a Pikachu printed on it, but this one was much fatter. The most important thing was that at this moment, Katrina was holding a huge cabbage and was eating it. Both Jiangnan and Katrina were stunned. Her mouth was full of cabbage. There was an awkward atmosphere in the air. Jiangnan scratched his head. Ah. Aya. I went to the wrong room. It's so strange today. He closed the door and was about to leave. Katrina glared at him and threw the cabbage at Jiangnan. Jiangnan turned around and teleported away. F***ck. Why was this blonde beauty in his house? Where was the Night Legion army? Didn't they want to catch her? Come and catch her. She was at my house. If you run away or call the police, I will kill all your neighbors. Jiannan's face froze. He stopped at the door and looked back. Katrina was leaning against the door and looking at him with a smile. Jiangnan, big sister. What are you trying to do? You didn't suffer a loss yesterday and saw me naked, so why are you sticking to me? Katrina recalled yesterday and was furious again. However, she still said, I already told you yesterday. No matter if you live or die, you are mine. You can't escape. Now. Return. Immediately. Katrina's eyes gradually turned dangerous. Her pupils gradually turned into snake pupils. Jiangnan felt pitiful. This beautiful girl must be at least a gold rank, right? How could his small arm resist her big white legs? Jiangnan could only obediently enter the house. His eyes were constantly darting around. He saw Katrina sitting on the bed, her posture was a little strange. Beside the bed, there was also the leather jacket that she had just taken off, the white panty and the bra. She pointed at the clothes by the bed and said, wash it for me. I want to wear it tomorrow. Jiangnan. F***ck. On what basis? It was okay if you wanted to eat my family's cabbage. I still have to wash your clothes. Speaking of which. Were you wearing only half a sleeve? Katrina pointed her finger at the edge of the bed. Purple mist filled the air. The iron pipe at the edge of the bed was corroded into a small hole. Jiangnan turned around and went to get the basin and laundry detergent. Big sister. Do you want to add some Bizhen? It smells good. TL note. Bizhen is a laundry detergent brand. Katrina tilted her head and said, what is Bizhen? Jiangnan. Jiangnan, who was sitting on a small stool, began to wash her clothes with a face full of grievance. Bobcat. Come on, Unite Legion Army. I can't hold on much longer. I'm under a lot of pressure. Katrina sat on the bed and looked at Jiannan's back, feeling a little conflicted. There were still 2 more days before her organization could send someone to pick her up. Although the burning blood reagent was gone, it was the same as bringing Jiangnan out. If she had not been cornered last night, she would not have made such a move. However, under the Night Legion army's inescapable net, it was impossible to take Jiangnan away with her own strength. The only way was to bring the news out and then organize an operation to take Jiangnan away. The problem was, how could she survive in Jiang City for 2 days? She knew no one here, so she could only come to look for Jiangnan. After all, she only knew him. Moreover, the reagent was still in his body. She has to watch him. As she thought about it, she became hungry again. So she picked up the cabbage she found in the kitchen and prepared to continue to eat. Jiangnan quickly washed her cloth and immediately said, "You're a big girl. How can you eat this at night? I'll cook for you." He ignored Katrina and rushed to the kitchen to cook. Katrina looked suspicious. Why was this guy suddenly so diligent? She then looked at Jiangnan, who was cooking skillfully in the kitchen. She smelled the fragrance coming from the kitchen. Katrina was suddenly a little touched. This little brother was not too annoying. Soon, a table of sumptuous dishes was served. A plate of scrambled eggs with chives. A plate of stir-fried meat with bean sprouts. A pot of rice. It could be said that it was colorful and smelled good. Katrina smelled the aroma, and her stomach was growling. Jiangnan was full of expectation. "Try it. It is not bad." Katrina licked her tongue and started to eat. Jiangnan was nervous as she picked up a few pieces of eggs and meat. "Eat some, leek. It's delicious." Katrina ignored him and only ate eggs and meat. Bean sprouts are also very delicious. "Do you want to taste it?" Katrina glared at Jiangnan but remained silent. Jiangnan was anxious. How could this girl be picky about food? You can't be picky. You have to think about your health. Katrina rolled her eyes at Jiangnan. "Why don't you eat?" Jiangnan scratched his head and chuckled, "Me. I've eaten outside." "Nonsense. I don't dare to eat it." The chives and the scrambled egg were the Reiki leek. Bean sprouts used in the stir-fried meat with bean sprouts were from detoxification small soybeans. He put a lot of stuff in it. This 2 plates of vegetables will be knocked you down for sure. Then he will find Night Legion army and report it. He. The plan was perfect. But Jiangnan never thought that this beautiful blonde girl was actually picky about food. Did the vegetables provoke you? As a result, Katrina did not eat the chives or bean sprouts the whole time. She only ate the eggs, meat, and the bowl of rice. At night, Jiangnan was lying on the bed with a tangled face. Katrina was lying on the side. Not only did she snatch the blanket away, but she also did not even leave a pillow behind. This night. It was so cold. Chapter 40. Circle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. She also confiscates his phone. It was very uncomfortable. Jiangnan, who was lying on the bed, could not sleep at all. Why didn't the Reiki leek and detoxification small soybeans flare up? Even if she didn't eat it, shouldn't the eggs and meat be stained with its extract? Jiangnan waited for an hour with his eyes wide open. Fine. I'm afraid there's no chance. 10 consecutive draws. The accumulated resentment points made Jiangnan draw 2 10 consecutive draws. The result was 1 Golden Age beauty pill. 19 Hulk pants. This result was acceptable. And at this moment, Katrina, who was lying quietly on the side, began to move. Her face was red and she began to twist her body uneasily. Her breathing gradually became heavy. Her pretty face flushed red. She secretly opened her eyes to look at Jiangnan, who was sleeping at the side, and found that he was asleep. So she secretly stretched out her little hand. She grabbed Jiangnan's hand and drew circles on his palm with her fingertips. Her body also moved towards Jiangnan bit by bit. Jiangnan. Big sister. What were you going to do? Were you being so tactful? According to his original plan, the medicinal effect of soybeans and leeks should be very fierce. She should be busy with her own affairs. But now, it can't be, right? Could it be that just eating eggs and stir-fried meat made the medicinal effect softer? Jiang Nan's heart trembled. Could this be a trap? Katrina opened her eyes and found that Jiang Nan did not react at all. She did not have any intention of waking up. She could not help but feel a little angry. Her small hand was not satisfied with drawing circles on his palm, so it climbed onto his chest. She drew circles after circles. Jiang Nan felt his entire body was numb. Who could withstand this? All right, I'm done pretending to be asleep. As long as I'm calm enough, nothing could happen. Seeing that Jiang Nan still did not react, Katrina could no longer bear it. She flipped over and sat on top of Jiang Nan. Her sky-blue eyes reflected the moonlight. She licked her little tongue, and the blush on her pretty face became even more adorable. Jiang Nan was shocked. No way. If he continued to pretend to be asleep, he would really be eaten. He quickly pulled out his hands and tried to push her away. However, Katrina held him down. Stop struggling. The more you struggle, the more excited I will be. You won't be able to escape. He. Jiang Nan, It should be the opposite. Shouldn't I be the one to say this? Under Jiang Nan's shocked gaze, Katrina's legs turned into thick snake tails, and her pupils turned into snake pupils. She wrapped Jiang Nan tightly in circles. Jiang Nan was so scared that all the hairs on his body stood on end. F***ck. She really turned into a snake. If this continued, wouldn't he become Su Xian? TL note. Su Xian is the main character of Legend of the White Snake. Can it be done? He was about to teleport and run away. However, that idea was beautiful. Jiang Nan, wrapped up like a big dumpling, realized that he could not teleport. It was as if some kind of skill restrained him. Every time he moved, Katrina's tail would tighten a little. Jiang Nan panicked. But right at this moment, Katrina's pupils suddenly lost their light, and she fainted, lying on Jiang Nan's body. Woo-da woo-woo-woo. Jiang Nan was buried in her chest. He could not breathe at all. If his body moved, and the snake tail tightened, this caused Jiang Nan not to dare to move at all. Even if he were beaten to death, he would never have thought that this would happen. The plan had been ruined. How could he secretly report this? But he must first try his best to survive the turbulent waves. Jiang Nan had no idea that Reiki leak had triggered the beastly nature of Katrina. After she transformed into a beast, she was a poisonous snake, which triggered the detoxification effect of detoxification small soybeans. She passed out directly under the stimulation. It was hard on Jiang Nan. Tonight was destined to be sleepless. Early next morning, Katrina slowly woke up. However, she found that Jiang Nan, who was pressed under her chest, had dark circles under his eyes. He stared at her helplessly. What happened? Had she transformed into a beast? Then why was she entangled with him? Jiang Nan, can we get up and talk? Katrina quickly got up and returned to her human form. She covered her chest and looked confused. Jiang Nan said confidently, You really are dishonest when you sleep. You even sleepwalked. You can sleep on your own tomorrow. I'll sleep on the floor. Katrina, sleepwalking. How come I remember? What do you remember? Katrina blushed. She only remembered that she was drawing circles. No, nothing. Jiang Nan heaved a long sigh of relief. He had escaped a beating. As he spoke, he put on his clothes and prepared to leave. What are you doing? You can't leave. Jiang Nan spread his hands, I am still a student. I have to go to school. You are not allowed to go. Who knows if you will call the police? Jiang Nan, if I don't go, it will be even more suspicious, okay? Katrina hesitated for a while and then said, then I'll watch you. Don't try to play any tricks. In these 2 days, she must not be exposed. Jiang Nan had no choice but to let her follow him. A blonde Katrina wearing a cap and half-sleeves and jeans followed him on the way to school. Even so, it still attracted the attention of countless people. Jiang Nan was so handsome that he could kill people. With the addition of the blonde beauty, they were even more eye-catching. Zhou Yuqing followed from far away, rubbing her eyes. She had once thought that she had seen wrongly. This sister just came out of Jiang Nan's house. The two of them. At the school gate, many of the students were stunned. After all, it was rare to see such a beautiful foreign girl. Damn! What happened to Nanshen? Where did he get to know this beauty? Blonde hair and blue eyes. She's too pretty. A beauty hiding in a golden house. Nanshen is indeed Nanshen. Why can't I meet her? I'm so jealous. Katrina was a little uncomfortable with the gazes around her. She threatened Jiang Nan, I can see your every move from outside. Don't seek death yourself. However, in the eyes of others, this action turned into an intimate bite to the ear. Jiang Nan shivered. Envious. Why don't we switch places? He finally understood. Right now, he was like a hostage kidnapped by her. Humph. Just you wait, I'll make you pay one day. Jiang Nan, who was sitting in the classroom, looked straight ahead and seriously did the questions. Many students peeked out of the window from time to time. Katrina stood under the shade of the tree and waited for Jiang Nan to finish school. She did not go anywhere. His classmates were so envious of him. Nanshen. You're awesome. She has been standing outside the whole morning waiting for you. Isn't it? Send her at least a bottle of water in the afternoon. How heartless. As expected, you can be willful just because you have a face. Jiang Nan. Heartless. How could he be worried about a gold-rank martial spirit warrior? Jiang Nan wanted Katrina to be exposed to the sun. Nanshen. Tell us. How did you meet her? Come on, tell us. Jiang Nan put down the pen and said seriously, she fell from the sky. From Wang Bin's resentment value plus 999. From Su Xiaoyi's resentment value plus 666. From